How's it going, everyone? This is Christian Duke from ProgressiveActivist.com outside of the Standing Rock Reservation. I'm joined by Haithem El-Zabri. Haithem, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. I'm excellent. I actually saw your bumper stickers and it sparked a conversation. You had bumper stickers for Free Palestine. And I've always been very active in the Palestinian movement. I've always believed that it's really upset me that people native to a land have been expelled, have had their rights taken, and have been treated in a way that no people should be treated. Talk to us a little bit about what brought you here, and if you could, what similarities you see between the plight of the Native American and the plight of the Palestinian.
Well, what brought me here is that their struggle and their call for solidarity really spoke to me, and as a Palestinian, I identified very much with their call and with their action and with what they're going through, precisely because there is a lot of similarity. I see it as the same struggle, essentially.
Sure.
Basically an ethnic cleansing of the indigenous people of the land. Exactly what was done to them is happening to my people today. So I could only, I feel their pain, I share their struggle, and I feel that all struggles of oppressed people are really essentially boiled down to the same thing, and if we stand united, that's the way forward. So I'm here for that.
Absolutely, and there are just so many striking similarities. I mean, in the occupied territory, there are refugee camps here. They're called reservations. In both situations, the United Nations have the support of the Palestinians and the Native Americans. In both situations, the oppressor, whether it's the United States government or the Israeli government, ignore the United Nations, ignore past treaties and pacts, and just continue to violate the people. Now, as far as what's going on here, there is a very, very strong community of people not protesting but protecting the water. The water is sacred to them and to us, and it's life, really. I mean, the planet would be a dead planet without water. What's been your experience thus far here in terms of meeting and talking to people?
Well, I have just got here. I was just parking when you saw my stickers.
Wow, I was the first person you talked to.
Yeah.
That's good. I hope it was a good first person.
Yes,
I have to tell you, I've been here just a couple days, just visiting, and I just get a sense that everyone here is on the same page. It's a very spiritual experience. Everyone is trying to, protect the water, and I don't know if you've been able to see or not, but there is no CNN here, no NBC or CBS, no mainstream media, no New York Times. It's almost as if the mainstream media is, again, striking similarity. The mainstream media is ignoring what's going on here, much like they've ignored what happens to your people.
Exactly, and that's why your presence is so important. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad it is getting covered in alternative media.
Absolutely.
But I also want to mention something. You spoke about water, and in Palestine we share, again, very similar problems. Like water, our water is controlled by Israel.
Absolutely. And the quality of water that you get in the West Bank is not the quality of water that, say, someone would get in Haifa or Tel Aviv. You don't get the same quality of water, and you don't get as much water.
Yeah, we get a small percentage of our water that's under our lands, and the settlements are actually get built on top of the major aquifers just to entrench their control over our water. So
absolutely.
Water is such a valuable commodity. It is life. I mean, and that's another reason Palestinians feel with what's Native American ways of protecting the earth. We also protect the earth. We're farmers, essentially.
Absolutely.
While Israel continues to uproot our olive trees that we value, they're sacred to us, just like for Native
yes.
Americans. For any indigenous people, I mean, we have such an attachment to land and to environment and to the planet. Unlike colonizers, capitalists, profit makers.
Exactly.
I mean, it's the same struggle, it's the same enemy, and like you mentioned, the U.S. is basically, it is the sponsor of Israel. Without the U.S., Israel would not do a fraction. It wouldn't exist as an Jewish
exactly,
state.
Exactly, and not the only democracy in the Middle East as it sells itself to be. It is not. And one thing that I also want to say about the olive trees in the West Bank, there are more and more Israeli settlements coming out, and in places they're not supposed to be building, and I find it very suspicious. And I'm curious why the Israeli government doesn't say anything and why the media doesn't say anything, but it's a very common occurrence where one day you have a field of olive trees, the next day a suspicious fire takes place, and then a few weeks later an Israeli settlement is there. And then we see this in the West Bank. In the West Bank, if any land belongs to the Palestinians, at the very minimum, it's the West Bank. And there's more and more Israeli settlements. There's Israeli settlements inside Hebron. There's Israeli settlements all over the place. There's cities, Israeli cities within Palestinian cities that had Palestinian businesses and shops that, you know, have been closed. And it's outrageous. And many of these settlers would not be able to live if it weren't for the constant protection of the IDF. So the Israeli government is completely complicit.
Yeah, and now they have made the two-state solution that they claim to desire. I mean, they've made it impossible. They've done everything. While they speak of a two-state solution, they've done everything. All those settlements that you mentioned are created for the purpose of not enabling a Palestinian state.
Right.
So it's ironic that they're pushing themselves into a corner where it's either an apartheid, supremacist state, or it's one state with equal rights for all. And that's what we're shooting for. We're asking for human rights, we're asking for equality, we're asking for no guy in Brooklyn should be able to move to my land and live there,
Sure.
while my grandparents have lived there for centuries and I can't live there.
Haithem,
We're asking for equal rights, basically.
let me ask you one question, because it seems like the mainstream media, at least in the West, is trying to perpetuate a lie. Is there solidarity between the people of the West Bank and the people of Gaza?
There is definitely absolute solidarity. Where the solidarity is lacking is between the people and the government, because the Palestinian Authority does not represent the interests of the people anymore. It is basically working, you know, to keep itself in power and serve foreign interests, basically. So although, like, while the Palestinian Authority hasn't pursued action against Israel for its crimes against Gaza, the people are the opposite. We are one. I mean, Gaza and the West Bank, we're the same people.
Absolutely.
We feel connected not only with people in Gaza, we feel connected with people here across the
Of course, of course. To conclude, though, as far as this movement here, this protection of water, where do you see this movement going? Do you feel more optimism, more hope that the government here will see this and reconsider its position? They have put temporary injunctions, 3 federal agencies, but temporary injunctions mean nothing. And even permanent injunctions mean nothing, because the United States government has violated every single treaty with the Native Americans. But do you have any optimism that this could be solved in a way as to where the water would be protected?
Well, my only optimism is in the power of the people. So I think if this keeps getting the support it's getting and it's continuous, I think we will prevail. Other than that, I would never trust the U.S. government to, out of its own goodwill, or the corporations to
Sure.
to meet those demands.
I wouldn't trust really hardly any government around the world to put profits before people. They always put the profits ahead of the people. The profits are always what matters, unfortunately. But let's hope that it works out here. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.